Hey, what's up? It's your boy Jakil, just bringing you some quick gains, some practical tips, some advice on exactly how you can scale and make more sales in your inbound sales team and get big profit and rolling in your high ticket consulting business, whatever you want to call it. Simply how to make $1 million in sales for only $150 a month or less remotely. So you're going to need a couple things. You're going to need a notebook and pen, CRM, a phone and video calling app, calendar, email, and a personal assistant. So let's rock out. The first thing you're going to need is a notebook and pen. That's the very first thing. Do not use Evernote. Do not use your notebook in your phone. Do not use any type of digital notebook, right? Literally use a notebook, a pen, and pad, and just jot down the notes with your hands. For one, this is going to be able to help you to take better notes. You're going to be able to actively listen and you're going to be able to jot things down quickly that most people who are trying to use Evernote and all these other digital systems are missing. So, for example, say you're talking to Miss Johnson and Miss Johnson mentions that her little son Timmy turns 5 in a month. That's going to be some information you want to jot down so you could use that piece of data to creatively follow up. Hey, Miss Johnson, I just wanted to call you. I know little Timmy's birthday is in a couple of days. Just wanted to wish him happy birthday. What all did you get for him? Okay, perfect. Well, on behalf of our company, what can we do for you and little Timmy? Is there any more information we could give you? In fact, is there anything that we could do that you could take this weekend to actually do some homework, and then we could have a follow-up call in a couple of days? I want you to enjoy your weekend with little Timmy, right? Just by doing that, because you had a notebook and a pen, you actively listened and you didn't push your agenda and try to close them, close, but instead you serve them, you add value, and you show them that you really do care because you remembered their little Timmy. That's going to increasingly put you up higher on their importance list, right? And that way, when you schedule your second or third follow up call, right, there's more trust, there's more credibility. So that's just a quick example, but definitely always use a notebook and pen. Now, let's get into some more tactics. CRM, which stands for customer relationship management. You're going to be spending anywhere between $15 to $30 a month on a CRM. Now, some CRMs that I recommend is No CRM. That's the one I started using when I first started out. Well, actually, when I first started out, I was just using my notebook. So that was my first CRM. But then I got into No CRM. This is a really good, simple CRM, and it's exactly what it says it is, No CRM, because it's not, it's literally just like grass. So whenever your potential clients book a call with you and hit your calendar, it integrates, goes directly to the CRM here, and you can literally just drag and drop on where they're at. Not only that, but I like No CRM, especially if you're using webinars, because when people actually opt into your webinar and you say you have thousands of people that signed up for the webinar, you can literally just download the sheet and integrate it into your No CRM, and it'll immediately go into the CRM for you. So No CRM, that's a good CRM to use. What I currently use is Pipedrive. That's what I use now. I'm not going to go through all my leads because I don't want any of my potential clients to see the information come up, right? But Pipedrive is a very, very great app to use. It integrates more with more things than No CRM, and that's why I switched over to it. Email integration. It integrates with a lot of the phone calling apps, a lot of the virtual video apps such as Zoom and Google Hangout. So Pipedrive, No CRM, those are the CRMs I recommend. Will run you about 15 to 30 bucks. Now you got your phone and video calling app. You could always go with Google Voice. This is like the starter pack, right? This is like the starter pack. Everybody and their moms has used Google Hangout, Google Voice, I mean. So you could use that. Now, I wouldn't recommend using it as you scale and as you start making, more money, because there's just better options out there. Google Voice tends to bug out a lot, tends to only work its potential when you're on Wi-Fi, and tends to sometimes miss calls, right? So you can start off with this for the free. Then some other ones I'd recommend is Grasshopper. Grasshopper was really good to me when I was using it. Now, I will admit, Grasshopper bugged out on me a whole lot, and it got real stupid to the point to where I couldn't even delete my messages, where sometimes I couldn't answer phone calls, couldn't hang up. It was crazy. So I quit on Grasshopper, but I've heard from a couple of my buddies that the Grasshopper is back on the A game and it's working better than ever. So I would give it a shot. but I didn't really like it when I had it. Ring Central, this was another one that I used. Ring Central was wonderful. Now this one is more on the costly end. It ran me about $55 a month, but Ring Central was definitely useful. Definitely never bugged out on me. I never had any problems with Ring Central. I would recommend using this if you want to scale a team. If you have about three salespeople or more, you might want to integrate them on Ring Central. And then the one that I use now is Just Call. So this is the one that I'm currently using. I love Just Call. The only problems I have with it sometimes is when I take my calls, I definitely have to turn my Wi-Fi off because sometimes it starts bugging out and tripping and won't let me hang up and won't let me mute. You know, when I talk, I like to ask questions and mute and shut up and listen, right? And take good notes. But right now I am using Just Call. It's a pretty good app. What I really love about it, the pros definitely outweigh the cons. You can record all your calls automatically. So as soon as someone calls me or I call them, it automatically records and it stores it to where I can go back and listen to it because you got to practice. Hey, like AI said, we talking about practice, man. You got to watch film. You got to listen to your recordings. You got to get better daily. And this allows you to do it without thinking about it. And you can also integrate things such as email, such as fax, SMS, and MMS, right? It keeps track of all your metrics. It's a pretty good artificial intelligence integration, so it can kind of show you, your statistics and things you can expect, right? So that's what I recommend for that. As far as the video calling app, you could obviously use Zoom or Google Hangout. Nothing serious there. Some things that I'm sure everyone knows about, or hell, even your iPhone, you could use that. Calendar. Now, this is what you need to be able to have clients actually book your calls so that way you can actually be able to speak with them in the first place. So you're going to send your potential prospect to a calendar, right? So what I used to use is Calendly. And honestly, Calendly is my favorite one. You can never go wrong with Calendly. I always suggest people use Calendly. It's super simple. You can create multiple different calendars. You could schedule your automated texts, automated emails, reminders, follow-ups on there. So Calendly's the GOAT by far, in my opinion. But what I use right now is Once Hub. It's another great calendar. Can do the same qualities as well. Can schedule like your pre-text prior to the calls. It does all that stuff automatically. Again, my favorite is Calendly, but I am using Once Hub. But don't let this stuff confuse you. Just take action, get a freaking calendar, and get it booked up. The next is your email. You need to have email to be able to pre-frame your calls, right? So when someone hits your calendar, you want to be emailing them immediately, starting a conversation, seeing how you could serve them, feeling their temperature, getting to know a little bit about them prior to the phone call. And also, you obviously want to use email to follow up. MailChimp is probably the most popular one. I love MailChimp. Anything you can think of that you can do on there, you could do. But the one that I really use is ConvertKit. It's just more simpler for me. MailChimp is probably a little more advanced than ConvertKit. So that's why I use this. ConvertKit, super simple. You can create your different broadcasts. You can create different groups of people to send your emails out to. So you can create a group for new leads that booked a calendar. You can create emails for people that might have booked a call but didn't show up. So you can create like a no-show email list. You can create a follow-up email list. You can create a hot, warm, cold prospect email list. Literally anything you need to do, you can create and blast out emails to your separate lists. So that's what I would definitely recommend. And then the final thing, which is a hack, which is key. If you really want to become a professional big profit enroller, an inbound salesperson, a professional high ticket closer, you have to have some type of management personal assistant in place. So a couple of different websites where you can find some good personal assistants. One is Upwork. This is a website where you have tons of freelancers and people that look for jobs, probably more on the expensive end here. So I probably wouldn't use this, but you can always go look here, especially if you're looking for people within the States. Freelancer, this is another great website. This is where you're going to find a lot of great quality people that are serious about their freelance business. Again, it's going to be a little more costly because they're all typically within the states. And again, they're more serious about their business. Um, but they have more experience and they typically do a better job than most freelancers. So is it worth the extra money? Yes, depending upon what you have going on. But just keep that in mind. You got Fiverr, obviously, as well. Fiverr is probably one of the more popular ones, along with Upwork. Fiverr, you could find people that range from literally a couple bucks an hour to 50 to $100 an hour. So it's very broad spectrum. Um, if you post an ad there, you're going to get tons of people looking for what you're doing. And if you search them, you're going to get tons of suggestions as well. So very broad, a lot of people, not necessarily specific, but you can always look on there. But the hack where I go and I get all of my personal assistance when it comes to closing, when I go to get people to follow up for me, to set my pretext, to send my emails, to constantly get in front of them and be in contact and go through my 30-day follow-up process is onlinejobs.ph. And this is a virtual workers in the Philippines. And the cool thing about it is, one, man, the people in the Philippines, I got nothing but love for them because they hungry. They not lazy. They don't make excuses and they grind their ass off. They'll work 12, 15 hours a day and won't give you no lip about it. And it's going to be yes, sir, and no, sir. So I love their work ethic. And then, they're grateful. They're easy to work with. All you got to do is tell them what to do one time, shoot them an instruction video, and then they're off to the races. You don't have to sit there and hold their hand. And another thing is obviously the currency exchange. So it is a lot cheaper to hire people in the Philippines because our US dollar holds way more weight than their currency. So, for example, you can find you a really, really great personal assistant on here for literally $2 to $5 an hour. And they might work a full work week for about, 25 to 40 hours for only 90 to like 100 something dollars a month. Right. So it's definitely important to have a personal assistant, again, to be able to do pre-call text, to do follow-ups, to send emails, to enter data into the CRM, to clear up the low minimum wage activities so you can focus on serving your clients and driving in more revenue for your business. And also it adds layers. And as I talk about in my ebook, The Killer Closer Method, the only handbook you'll ever need to close $1 million in sales, which I'll be releasing very soon, pre-framing and adding layers to your sales process and third-party validation is super, super important. It makes the organization look in sync. It makes it look a lot bigger than what it possibly is, right? And it shows your professionalism and it shows that you have a organism that's growing, right? An ecosystem and not just a one-stop shop. Okay. So I hope you got some great value out of this. Again, these are all the things you literally need to create $1 million business. And that's why I love big profit enrolling, high ticket sales, and high ticket closing, because you can create $1 million business with literally less than $150 a month anywhere in the world without any type of overhead, without having to have any type of product, without having to worry about any type of marketing campaigns, without having to do a bunch of content, and without having to go to a bunch of events and meetups and things that you really don't want to go to, but you got to go network and fake care about what someone else may have going on, and they're fake caring about what you have going on because there's a potential to be able to cross each other and use each other's audience to sell more revenue. Not saying nothing's wrong with that, because I love me a good old fashioned networking event. I love to show up. Even when I don't feel like going, I still love to show up because that is what it takes. But all I'm saying is you can make doctor money without having to do doctor responsibilities. And you can make business owner money. In fact, you can make way more than the business owner just by closing their deals, because you don't have a lot of overhead that you got to worry about, and you don't have a lot of stress, and you don't have to have a lot of responsibilities and things to attend to. So again, hope you guys got some great value out of this. You know the vibes, grind out, stunt later. And if you have any interest in learning more about big profit enrolling and how you can make $1 million in sales for only $150 a month and less, literally remote from your phone, from your home, from the beach, from your laptop, then contact me. I'm here to educate you. I'm not here to sell you. I want to teach hundreds of people, especially in the culture, especially people that look like me, exactly how I've been able to completely change my life and go from dead broke to drug addict to a six-figure revenue, literally by the art of big profit and rolling with sales and communication. Talk to you guys soon. Love you. Stay blessed.